Chart Vision, bro. I see ya. What's going on, my man?
My dogs. I sent you like 10 requests. I was trying to, I wanted to catch Coach before he got up out of there with a respectful challenge. Um,
And I appreciate that.
uh,
And you understand that in the room of 700 people, it's not all about you, right? So anyway,
yeah,
I
but
appreciate
we
I
didn't say that.
appreciate in the DMs coming at me full heavy and stuff. But I mean,
We didn't say
we
that,
can all
kid.
do what
You
we
said
can do.
that.
We can do what we can do, right?
Yeah, we could do that. But I didn't say it was all about me. You said that, big fella. I didn't say that. That's not the words that came out of my mouth. All I said was that I wanted to come up and offer a respectful challenge to Coach,
What would you like
right?
to offer in
So,
respect to the conversation, my friend?
yeah, in respect to the conversation, right? So, I don't think that if we're talking about beginner traders, you can tell those traders, you know, you can set a goal for them to make every day. Make your $100 a day and get out, right? Because they're newbies, they're beginners, right? They're baby swimmers. So we telling you to get your 37 and a half handles and get out the way, right? But when it comes to people that have been doing this for years, that's not applicable to you. I think it's the coach's job to teach us the game plan and let us set our own goals. Phil Jackson didn't go out there and tell Kobe, yo, only score 60 tonight. He went and scored 81. So that's not the coach's place to tell the players how much to score. It's to tell us how to score effectively, right? And manage our stamina, manage our resources while scoring. Now, if you're a beginner and you don't know how to score, then yeah, 5 or 10 handles a day, 37 handles a day, yeah, that's applicable to you. But the ideology of everybody should just bread and butter and dream small, the shit's about to hit the fan in the world. And I'm not here to make extra job money. I'll go get another fucking job. Trading is stressful. It's hard. It's difficult. I'm not going to do all of that stressing just to make bread and butter money when a loaf of bread is $8. I'm not doing that. I'm here to discipline myself and make sure that I'm so disciplined that when I reach for that high goal, that when I reach for the stars, there's a high probability that I'm going to reach that goal. I might not hit 10 million, but I know I'm going to hit at least 2 or 3. And I'm not going to do that trying to bread and butter. The other thing is, too, uh, it really behooves me when people tell other people how to think, how to act, and how to behave in this space. The dramas of this space are exciting. They make for good conversation. They make for good gossip. You got Take Profit Trader banning a bunch of traders and bringing them back this week. That was good content, good things to talk about in the industry. Everything don't have to be looked at as negative. When you see two people fighting back and forth on Twitter about what? The markets. They're not talking about each other's family. They're not trying to kill each other's mother. They're geeking out about the markets. You had Bill Ackman and Carl Icahn doing the same thing, swear words on national television, ripping each other a new hole on live on CNBC. Bill Ackman and Carl Icahn. But two nobodies on Twitter can't get into it a little bit about what they think about the markets, and everybody in here is like, oh, it's all negative.
No, I mean, it's going to be
It's
what you
not
bring
negative.
to it,
It's
bro.
good for
It's
the
going to be what
industry.
you bring to it.
Yeah, it's good for the industry.
Conversations are the energy that you bring to it, right?
Yeah, but I
I
think
think we
I
can
think
agree on that, right?
yeah, we do agree on that. But I think that steel sharpens steel, and I think that the yin and yang exists for a reason. If everything was so positive, it would be stale and mundane. And so we need a little bit of bad so we can what? Oh, that's why that good feels good, right? You need the balance. So the dramas and the influencer dramas and the prop firm dramas, all of those things are but entertainment for you while you're bored doing your model that you know so much, right?
Well, I mean, that depends on, I mean, influencer is, I mean, what are we talking about?
Well, because when they say, "Oh, stop paying attention to the influencers, stop pocket watching. We're in the business of making money." This is the business of pocket watching. You can't expect people not to pocket watch in this industry. This is the
Yeah,
business of
yeah,
pocket watching.
which is why you have folks that have followerships of hundreds and thousands of people, and why you have folks with followerships of nobody, all on the same floor having the same discussion, because everyone gets that same equal stand. But that doesn't mean within the vast disparity of everyone there that everyone is the same, because they're not. Not everyone's the same.
Exactly. That's why you can't throw a blanket approach out there and say, oh, stop listening to that stuff. Stop following those people. They're negative. They're this, they're that. It's like, what gives you the right to coin somebody as negative?
No, but to
And
your
I'm not
point,
saying
if we
you
come in
personally. Of
here,
course, I'm not
no, but
saying
to
you
your point,
personally.
no,
But
I
I'm
know, I
just
get
saying,
it. But when
what
we
gives us the
identify
right to
ourselves
coin the
as a
influencers as
community,
negative? I
no,
don't
but when
think
you,
any.
again, bro, I appreciate what you're saying, but you have to stand or make a stance somewhere. But then once you make the stance, if you want to take the counter argument, then you have to really make a decision. Is that positive? Or is that counter what you're trying to do? Because anyone can take the counter position. You're absolutely right. I can fade whatever it is, but if you're walking in, there's one of two stances within a community, and you're part of the problem or part of the solution. And part of the problem is the destruction of the community, and part of the solution is the emanating growth and success of the community. So within that, as far as a realm, there is the counter argument, clearly. But if you are to come in and take the stance of building a community, then there's only one of two things happening. Would you agree?
Yeah, but yeah. So building a community, like that doesn't have anything to do with just labeling things negative because maybe you or ICT or coach or whoever feels that is negative. It's
No,
like
no,
with all due
no.
respect,
I mean, no. I would say, with all
like
due
why does
respect, like
wait
we're
wait hold on,
building a
Kitt,
community
hear me,
and
Kitt.
giving you a voice, and you can have the counter voice, which is fair.
No, but
But
what I'm
that
saying
doesn't
is
make it any
this is a
more right or
logical
wrong.
this is a logical question, right? What gives coach the right to say to label other things that people are doing as negative when those things are what make the actual industry they those these happenings between influencers and what you guys are labeling as negativities, these are the things that allow the industry to actually exist. Without those things, none of us would have nothing to talk about or nothing to
No,
do.
but you have an option of choosing to focus on those things or choosing to focus on something else. Would you agree? Because I would believe this entire platform that I've
Yeah,
chosen
and
to
I have
volunteer
that
time and
option.
energy towards
I can
has
exercise
opted
that
not
option without
to do
labeling
that.
something positive or negative. I can
No, I
exercise that
believe
option without
wholeheartedly with
labeling
what we
something
were
positive
building.
or
There is
negative.
no,
I can just
I
say it's not for
disagree.
me.
I disagree wholeheartedly. When you are coalescing as a community, and when you're trying to find the common denominator amongst folks, constantly amongst folks, where's the common denominator? Where can we coalesce? Where can we find common ground? That's not talking about divisive politics. That's not bringing in specific things that have to do with like intimate details in religion. Right? We could have divisive topics in which race, politics, religion can very easily divide and destruct our
Yeah, that's why I
conversation.
said coach shouldn't be talking about religion with trading. I was the one that said that. So yeah, I feel you 1,000% on that. I'm the person that said that. Stop the religion and the trade and stuff together because it don't mix. It's divisive, right? I lost a few followers because I said that. Because I went against something that ICT said. So, oh God, I must be wrong, right? But in the end, you come out and see what? I was actually correct because those are two things that shouldn't be mixed, right?
There's a way in which you can do it, and I believe we're trying to find that balance, bro. There is a way in which you can celebrate your higher power, find your higher self, coalesce, come together, and feed and find positivity, which is what we do. Or you can focus on negative, divisive, destructive energy, in which is dramatic and also very, very, very much something in which you can spend time and energy on and focus. I choose as the host of Trader Roundup on year 4 to focus on things that have to do more with constructive energy, where we can coalesce and come together, both within religion. within politics, within race, within language, within trading, within all of these things that are otherwise easy to find fault and negative and reason to break apart. So I believe strongly we are either part of a constructive force that is building, or we are part of a destructive force that is destroying. And it's up to us to make that decision with where and how we do that. And on any given time, on any given moment, we could find ourselves on either side of that boat. We could find ourselves as being yin on one argument and then being yang in the next breath. So there's no one here that needs to be pointed in any finger, because there's nothing but that. It's logically, intelligently, intuitively, we're
Yeah, that's
feeling
what I'm
ways to
saying.
grow,
Hey, listen,
right?
that's
And I feel you.
exactly.
I feel
Hey,
you.
Kit, listen,
Yes,
that's
sir.
exactly what I'm saying, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Because I had a guy today that tweeted, "Oh man, I'm listening to ICT talk. I'm glad I didn't have my kid in the car with me yet." So when you talk about what's positive or negative, hey, listen, I'm a sharp motherfucker and I'm gonna hold everybody. I don't care who it is. I stand up for that which is right. So when you come out and you point about all the negativities, and then what? Because you're the coach, at one time you could just flip out and curse your head off in front of
Yeah.
everybody, and then we're
Yeah.
supposed to just like what, the
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you can. Yeah, you
the
can.
the
Yeah,
the, the priest,
wholeheartedly
the
you can.
coach, the saint. Like I can't
Wholeheartedly.
do that.
Bro, no,
Hey,
you
listen, I'm
can't.
from Brooklyn,
You're
New York. I'm gonna
absolutely
keep it a
right. You can't
thousand
do
percent
that,
all the
bro.
time, kid.
No,
I'm gonna keep it
no,
1,000
no.
all the
I
time.
appreciate it, but the difference between you and him is he has his platform and you don't have his platform.
But this not about the platform. This is
Yes, it
about
is.
what's
Yes,
right.
it
This is
is,
about
because
standing up
you
for
build,
what's
you
right. Because
stand on that
there's
platform, my
hey
friend.
kid,
You
listen.
stand
There's
on
a
that within
million
life.
people. There's
That
a
is an
million people
accumulation of
such as
decisions
myself
in which
that
you're
make that
making.
platform. So
It's a decision and accumulation of decisions that you make. Your
yeah,
life is that.
yeah, of course. But we're not talking about my life.
Well, we're
We're
talking
talking
about
about the
our
space. We're
lives and what
talking
we
about
come up here and
community.
what
We're
we're
talking
allowed to
about this
say and not
community. We're
allowed to
talking about
say.
the space. We're not talking about anything else besides that. How you got on my life, I don't know. But let's bring that back, right?
Well,
Okay,
what are you talking
because
about? This ain't about your life, bro. This ain't about
yeah, but
you.
that's what you just said. You literally just said
You
something
keep
about
making
my
this
life.
about you.
The point that I'm trying to make is nobody should be telling these good people how big to dream, and nobody that with a mouth like ICT has a right to tell anybody what's positive or negative. I've heard this man say some egregious things over the past 5 years,
Okay,
as we
and
all
you've
have.
also and
And
you've
that's not
you're
to
also
hold
here
on,
to
let
celebrate
me finish, and I'm
the
gonna land
things
my
that you've
plane.
learned from him.
Let me
It's like,
finish,
bro,
and
like
I'm gonna land my plane. I got a
being
car
the counter
downstairs.
voice in a community is something you can do. Yes, you can do. You are given a platform, you are given a microphone, and you can be counter what we are here to say, which is what you were doing, which is what you are doing.
No, I'm not being counter anything. I'm
Yes,
being
you
counter
are.
something very specific. I'm not being counter ICT. I'm not being anti Trader Roundup. I'm not being Trader Kit. None of that. Kit, you know I got love and respect for you, and y'all
That's
know how I
cool.
feel
I
about
appreciate
Coach.
you. Yeah, I
Y'all know how
appreciate you
I
too.
feel about Coach. I love Coach from pieces to smeeces, right? And I'm grateful to that man for
And you
everything
would
that
be
he taught
defending
me.
him in a
But
different
there has to
conversation
be a
just as
line in
ardently.
the sand that's drawn, Kit. You got people coming up here telling that man that they listen to him more than their mother and their fathers. That's shameful. It's not
What are you
right.
talking? How's that shameful, bro? That's
It's
unfortunately the
shameful.
world that we
What do
live
you
in.
mean, Kit? So, Kit, if your daughter came up to you and said, "Oh, Dad, I listened to this person I found on the internet more
Bro,
than
my
you
daughter
because
spends
they
more
taught me
time
how to
out of
get rich,"
school
how would
dealing
you
with
feel?
strangers than she does with me, and I pay good money for her to do that. What are you talking about?
That's
What are you
nonsense.
talking about?
That's nonsense. That would break my heart if my son ever
Dude, it
came
could
home and
break your
said
heart
he
all
listens
you
to
want. She's
another
got a
man more
4.8
than he listens
GB.
to
She's got
me.
a
A man
4.8
that he never
GPA.
met, a
Again,
man
dude,
that he's
I
never laid
appreciate
eyes
you.
on, that he's never met, a man that he's never even smelled the pheromones coming off of him. It's not right, kid.
What do you, I don't understand your argumentative tone within the discussion today. I don't.
No, because
You're saying that
because I've
you
been
don't
sitting on this.
appreciate
Well,
you don't
one, because I
appreciate
sent you 10
ICT's
requests
tone.
and they got ignored. I sent 10 requests and they got ignored.
And guess what? The
The
entire
point of me
space is not
saying is
about
because there
you.
has to be a
It's not
line
the
drawn in
entire
the sand.
space is not about you, sir.
Listen,
It's not about you coming up
and
to
I never said
speak.
it. I
My
never said it was
platform
about
is
me.
not
I'm talking
about
about
you.
ICT. I'm not talking about myself. So I know it's
You
not about
sure as
me.
fuck are.
I'm not talking about myself. I'm talking about ICT. And what
You're
I said
talking
is very
about what
simple. There needs to
you
be a
have to
line drawn
say
in the
about our
sand. You
ICT.
can't have people coming up here talking about they love him and listen to him more than they listen to their own parents. That's shameful. That's
Bro,
shameful, and it's not right. I
okay.
don't care. Yo, listen. Who wanna? Hey, listen. It's not right. And I would, if you would have allowed me up, I would have told Michael that to his face. I
Bro,
appreciate the
for
man.
one,
Let me
I
finish so I can land
appreciate
my
you
plane.
being
My
here
cab is
right
downstairs.
now.
My cab is downstairs. Let me finish so I can land my plane. I would have told Michael this to his face. I respect the man for everything that he's taught when it comes to trading and trading the markets. But after 5 years sitting around and listening to this shit for going on 6 years, there has to be a line drawn in the sand. All of
And
this
you're the one who's
worshiping
going to do it,
ICT
right?
stuff is gotta stop. We love and respect
You're
Coach
and you're
dearly for
you're you're
everything that
here to
he's taught us.
regulate ICT, right?
But we're not doing this. No, I'm
No,
not
but
an
you
ICT
are.
trader. I'm a
But
chart
you
vision
are.
trader. I'm not an ICT trader. I'm a chart vision trader. I have learned some ICT concepts.
I was under the impression that you were part of the ICT community.
I'm an ICT student. I've studied ICT concepts. Yes, I'm part of the ICT community because I've studied under his tutelage for 5 years. But do I helm at every word he says and suckle at his bosom as everything he says is truth? No,
Ooh, boy.
absolutely not. I'm
Okay.
a grown ass man. Why would I
Okay.
do that?
Yep.
I'm listening. Let's go.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is very simple, right? And this isn't a stab at coach. This isn't an attack on coach. I said something very simple. Two things. One, when you have people come up here and say, "Oh, I love you so much. I listen to you more than I listen to my parents." We should kick those people the fuck out instantly and automatically. You don't disrespect your parents like that. And we love coach. We appreciate coach. We respect coach. But if it's to the point where it's like, oh, I love him so much that I listen to him more than my parents, those people should never be allowed to speak in this trader roundup. And that's that. The second thing, when it comes to the influencers, this is the only two points that I was trying to
Can I
make.
respond? I want to respond to each one that you make. Can I respond to the first one?
Yeah, absolutely, of course. We men, we can have conversation. This ain't a fight. This not a fight. It's not an argument. It's me telling you how I feel, and that's it.
All right. You're entitled to your opinion. And I'll be honest with you. When I hear some people say that I have more influence than their own parents, at first, it did make me feel uncomfortable. But these same people sometimes come back to me and they actually mail me letters, handwritten letters. And they're saying that I'm that person that you talk to in the space, or I'm that person that said this and said that. And their parents have nothing to do with them. So it's all context. I don't personally believe when people say that they have loving mothers and fathers that are nurturing them. I think that they're saying thank you for being this person because I didn't have it in my own parents. So that's not shameful. That's not something that I would share an opinion of, but I can see on an outward, it could look like that, but it's not always like that. But I'll take your next one. Go ahead.
I understand that, coach, but what I'm saying is this. What you've given us is a tool to go out and whether we want bread or butter or whether we want riches, you've given us a way to attack either of those things, right? To equate that to the people that their flesh and blood, their DNA is what gave you life. And there was another person, I'm not going to call his name, but that's my dogs. And we was having a conversation about this. I said, hey, man, he said, yo, my parents ain't do nothing for me. Everything that ICT taught me is what put me in this position now, where I am now. And I said to that good brother, if it wasn't for your parents, would you be here to learn some ICT? Could you be here to learn some ICT? Like I said, this ain't an attack on coach. Y'all are in my spaces. We love and respect this man and we honor this man. So don't anybody in here that tried to paint this out as, oh, Chart Vision's attacking coach. Like, get the fuck out of here with that shit. I'm a realist. I'm from Brooklyn, New York. I'm going to tell you exactly how it is. The second point that I was making, coach, was that I don't think that these happenings, between the influencers and the going back and forth, the gossips and all those things. I think those things make for a very entertaining industry. And that if we label it negative, it is what it is because we've labeled it that. But those things aren't necessarily negative, right? You see two traders going back and forth, right? Hell, let's talk about Matt Leach from My Funded Futures and how he's slamming Michael Patak all around the Michael Patak from Top Step. Him and Matt Leach, WWF in it, WWE wrestling it every single week. We can go back to Carl Icahn and Bill Ackman. I've said that 1,000 times. This industry, and Pax will tell you about Alana, the lady that knocked out a guy on the floor of the pit, knocked him out cold on the floor of the pit. And you guys think that you're in this industry and it's all kumbaya. It's like, yeah, we want to be positive. We want everybody to make money. But if we think that this isn't where it gets competitive in the big casino, I think that we're highly mistaken. I do not think that we should consider those things negativities, right? And so don't let nobody come to you, coach, and say, oh, Chart Vision talking bad about you. And no, we're men, right? I have my opinions and you have yours. But these are my opinions. I've never taken a personal stab at you or said something negative about you, right? These are always about the concepts, about the math. It's kind of like when me and Kitt got into it about the ADR, right? It seems like an argument, but it's not. You have two people that are geeking out about math, and that's good. Steel sharpens steel. That's all I wanted to say, Coach. It was, I don't know why everybody's trying to make it like, oh, somebody's attacking ICT. He's got to come defend himself. Go get his gun, right? Y'all cowards for that. Whoever went and told them that.
You
I'm from
nailed this
Brooklyn, New
point. I was
York.
going to respond
I
with.
sit with any man at a table and have a conversation.
When I'm talking about how a new trader, a new student should avoid all the drama, they're going to get wrapped up in things that will steal their attention, steal their time. It's very draining. If you're profitable and you had a trade and you want to be entertained by that garbage, go right ahead. It's fine. But in the beginning, there's too many people that don't know what the hell they're doing, wasting their time doing all that stuff.
I also said that as well, Coach. I also said that as well. Like, he's not talking to us. He's talking to the newer students, the freshmen. Like, you what in the school of ICT for 2026? He's talking to you. When he's talking about 37 and a half handles, he's not talking to me, a student that's been with him for 2020. He's talking to you, the newer student. That's the only thing that I was trying to say. Coach, I got two boys. My youngest baby is about to graduate in 45 days, right? You feel what I'm saying? So
Can I ask you
I'm
a
a
question?
parent. So
Let
that
me ask,
thing
let
when
me
the
ask you a
guy came
question.
up, it was maybe 2 times over the course of 2 trader
This is
roundups. I heard somebody say that,
crazy.
and it broke my heart. It just literally broke my heart. I couldn't take
I'm
it.
about to delete this entire space because this sounds like the ramblings of someone completely crazy. It's not even
That's how you
content.
can paint it. That's how you can paint it. But Kit, you and I know what's going
I
on. I've
do
known
know.
you
I'm
from
about
being
ready
here
to
before you
delete
met
this
Mike.
because it's
I know the
unbelievable
truth
how
about you,
horrible
Kit.
of
Don't
content
forget
we have
that.
going on here.
You can't come up here and assassinate my
I'm
character,
I'm
Kit.
assassinating what the fuck you're rambling on for I don't know how the fuck long
No,
on my
I didn't
platform.
ramble, but Coach answered the question. Coach answered the question, so therefore it wasn't a ramble, right? But if you feel some type of way, you know what you can do, Kit. I know about you. I've known you for years,
Go
Kit.
for it, bro. I'm here
Before you
for it.
met
What are you here to
ICT.
say? What are you here to say?
Before
I said
you
what
get
I
into
had
it,
to
can I
say.
answer him, please?
I said
Can I
what I had
answer?
to say. I said what I had to say. And
And,
you want to make it seem like I'm coming in with a warmongers or I'm coming in with Aries energy and I just want to kill and destroy. And that's not
can I
what it
ask you a
was.
question, please?
Absolutely.
Okay. You mentioned you had 2 boys.
Yes, sir.
What's your youngest age?
He about to graduate this year.
Grade school or college? Which one is it?
High school. He's graduating high school this year.
Okay, so he's still young. Well, the reason why I'm talking to influencers and telling them to dial it down because I've had death threats to my youngest. I've had death threats sent to me about how they're going to remove his head. Okay. You all don't realize the depths of some of this pieces of shit out there that you're egging on.
Chart
Okay.
vision,
I've
chart
had death
vision,
threats
talking about
against
death threats, chart vision. We want to talk about death
Hey,
threats.
he can speak for himself,
No,
Kit.
I'm
He
talking
was just
about
saying
you
he
to
can
me,
speak for
bro.
himself. He don't
I'm
need your
talking
help.
about you to
Let
can
me
him
on
I
a
finish
different
what he's
account.
saying, Kit.
Kit, please let me finish my point, please. Like you see all this stuff and you see influencer against influencer. Okay. And I've had people threaten my family. I've watched people put stuff up about me that's not true. And people are fanatical. And yes, some of you that follow me are cultic. Like you literally will go out there and take a bullet from me and you don't even know who I am. And that's not normal. That's not normal. In the beginning, it's fun, it's shop talk, but then I have people swearing their allegiance to me like I'm something more than a man, and that's not normal. That's not normal. So when we build these factions and we build these tribes and we build these camps around individuals, and I'm an influencer and I have a lot of influence, nobody talks about this kind of stuff. I was victimized by it. My family was victimized by it, by somebody that if it was a younger me, I'm going to tell you something right now, they wouldn't be here anymore. You don't know what people are capable of. You don't know what they're willing to do to try to impress somebody that they like online. I've had people literally try to encourage other people to make a name for themselves by harming me or my family. For what reason? No good reason. No good reason at all. So in the beginning, it can start out as shop talk and it's fun, rib here, rib there, talk a little bit of shit, talk a little bit of shit. But eventually a line gets crossed. And if you're not careful, that line being crossed could cause someone to lose their life, lose their freedom. Bad stuff can happen. And in the world today, staying out of that stuff is the best thing you can do. And if you get wrapped up in it, you might be a little cheerleader on the side saying, yeah, this is what makes the world go around. This is what makes it's entertaining. It's entertaining until your family's threatened. You love your kids, I'm sure, but you can't be with your kids every waking minute. They're going to do something. They're going to go out and hang out with their friends, and you don't know who's watching and following them.
That's why I don't post payouts, Coach. That's exactly why I don't post payouts. I'm from the
Well,
Bronx, New York. I got a big
with
ghetto
respect, that
family.
has really no bearing on what I just said.
So what it's saying is that, you know, posting those payouts, you are putting your family in danger. You're showing people that you can make thousands of dollars in a few minutes. It has a lot to do with it, Coach, if you think about it, right? You post those payouts
No.
and people know that you.
Go ahead, Michael.
So
Was he done? I
you,
didn't hear what you were saying.
yeah,
It cut off. Good.
yeah, because Kitt muted me. You post those payouts, and then people know that you have access to this money. You know these IC time. I'm not ever showing anybody that I can make a couple of $100s in a few minutes, posting a payout or showing those things like that, because like you said, those things are what can put your family in danger. And I do understand that, and I do sympathize with that. I'm sorry that somebody threatened your family, but and things do go to the extremes on the internet and in this particular industry. But um, there does have to be a line drawn in the sand, of course, but the discourse, like I said, between the prop firm CEOs, hacking at it, fighting, that's what I'm
I could
talking
care
about.
less
I'm
about
not
that.
talking about getting so deep that you're sending ICT's family death threats, right? I'm talking about a simple CEO going back and forth with another CEO. I enjoy that back and forth. That's good for the industry. It makes the industry competitive, is what I'm saying. I'm talking about the competitive nature of the industry. And a lot of times we can mix competitive with negative, right? People that are afraid of competition would consider somebody competitive as negative, right? Kit, right?
Well, I'm speaking of when I'm talking about going after someone and the drama when the community creates these factions and they break up into little tribes and subcategories of the little mobs, okay? And they start going after this one person because somebody made a post about him, somebody made a video about him, someone tried to expose them. And you get this whole mob mentality worked up into a frenzy. You don't know What lunatic is sitting there thinking, this is the stage I want to stand on? I'm going to be the one, and I'm going to take that person out, because they will be a celebrity in their own mind because they did something heinous. And all of you encouraging that are complicit. You don't see how far it'll go until it starts happening to you. You would have a different perspective if that shit touched your home. You would. Every one of you would. Every one of you. So when I'm talking like that, I'm not talking about the bullshit between prop firms. I don't care about that. I'm talking about going after an individual and start spreading more bullshit and more bullshit and more bullshit. And this person needs to have this done to them, and this person needs to have that done to them. They need to get fucked up. Somebody needs to roll up on them.
Yeah, coach.
Listen,
I've never
listen.
gotten that deep into the drama in this community. My as far as I've gone is the competitive nature of who can employ your concepts better and who's bearish or who's bullish. My line in the sand is drawn there, right? Anything beyond that for me is considered negative. You want to compete with me about, oh, I did my market maker sell model. I did it at the low risk short instead of the the 2022 model within it, right? And so you feel like you're a little bit better the trader than me. I like that competition. Steel sharpens steel in that regard. But I think that it's good that you're saying this, because when I'm talking, what I assumed was being pointed out as negative, as negativity, is the competitive nature between in this community, or between the traders in this community, and I don't consider that negative. I think it's a positive. And so, I'm sorry that this, under these contexts, that we have to have this conversation, because it was never intended to be something aggressive. It was never intended to be something that, oh, look at me, let's get all of the attention. I'm getting ready to go downtown in Manhattan for the rest of the night. I don't give a fuck what y'all doing in this trader roundup. Y'all got me fucked up. I'm about to go spend $1,000 downtown in Manhattan right now. I don't care what y'all got going on in the trader roundup. I was just saying, like, yo, I love Coach too. I love and respect this man too for what he's taught me over the past 5 years. Hell, I was studying under John F. Carter for 10 years and didn't do half of what ICT did for me. So why would it make sense for me to come up and speak negative about Coach? Y'all cowards for insinuating that, because that's not what I was intending to do. I was simply trying to draw a line in the sand by saying, hey, I'm a parent. That kind of broke my heart when they said they listened to him more than their parents. And then when it comes to what's negative and what's positive in the community, hey, listen, me and another trader going back and forth about who did the 2022 model better is not negativity. That's steel sharpening steel. And some of y'all in this space are a little bit too soft, right? This is the most competitive industry in the world. It's a sport. It's a professional sport, and that's how we should treat it. And Coach, I'm sorry that these are the contexts that they tried to introduce me to you and try to paint me out as some person that's here to cause division amongst the community, because that's a goddamn lie from the pits. I'm going downtown. I appreciate y'all, man.
The verse is iron sharpens iron. And I think that wholesome competitiveness, there's nothing wrong with that. If you can trust the person you're talking to and they understand who you are and you want to shop talk with them, that's fine. What I was talking about was how people are coming at other trader influencers, people online, and they're wishing ill on them to the point of harm, stalking them. Just it's not good, because I've had people literally, when I was getting trolled a lot, I had people literally promising me whatever I asked them to do, it would be done. That's scary. Like, that's scary stuff. And I don't want that kind of stuff on my conscience. And I would hate to see somebody else not realize the depths of the dregs of society looking at opportunities to try to become famous because they did something stupid, just to make an impression on the world, because they're like, yeah, I agree with that perspective about that person. They don't deserve to be here anymore. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about being competitive about, you know, what you can do better with your trades and all that. That's normal. That's what makes the world go around in trading. But talking about how someone needs to have their head shot and blown off, okay, or followed and abducted and beaten within an inch of their life. That ain't it. That ain't it. And the people that encourage that kind of stuff, they should go to jail. Like the world's too dangerous right now, too toxic. And what are we here for? Are we here to be involved in that kind of stuff? I'm not here for that. I'm not encouraging students to be a part of that stuff. Nobody should be a part of that stuff. And nobody is going to tell me that I can't bring up spirituality, because if I didn't have that, you wouldn't have learned anything from me. That's why I am the way I am, because of who I believe in. There is a place for it. And I don't apologize for anybody that doesn't like it. That's who motivates me. That's what holds me together. That's the glue. That's it. That's the framework that holds it up. And if you tell me I can't talk about him, then we don't have any conversation anymore. There's no common ground to talk about. That's why I'm here. That's why I do what I do. And it doesn't matter if someone says, well, I don't want to follow you because ICT said this and you disagree. Opinions are just like that. Everybody has them. You don't have to agree with me. You don't have to subscribe to everything I say I subscribe to. You don't have to do that. And if someone wants to stop following you because of an opinion by me or someone else, let them. Let them. If you have something that's worth being around, they're going to come back to you. That is leverage that people do all the time. I'm going to unfollow you. No, you won't. You're going to unfollow me, create another account, and follow me from that one. That's how this game works. Social media is bullshit. I don't buy into all the nonsense that goes on. And influencers, when they're young and small, they weigh out way too many things of the opinions of their followers. Oh, I gotta look good in front of my followers. I gotta save face in front of my followers. No, you don't. Just be you. Just be you. If you're upstanding and you're worth being around, people are going to want to gravitate towards you. If you're positive, not negative, negative is tearing other people down just for the sake of tearing them down. That's not competition. That's not sporting. That's bullshit. That's what it is. It's hate. It's envious hate. And someone that can do it well doesn't need to do those things. Just them being themselves is enough. You walk it and people identify it. They recognize it. You don't need to beat your chest about it. You don't need to say anything about it. People just see it. And they'll never be in question about your character because they know how you are. And that's all I'm trying to encourage. I'm trying to encourage that. I don't want to waste my influence and be something I'll fall short of. Just being a good trader ain't enough. I want to be a good influence. And if I can encourage other people to be a good human, not just a good trader, then that's what I'm trying to do. But I don't think that having someone be held to a higher standard of being decent, non-threatening, not a source of concern because they can't hack the fact that you do something better than they ever will. And that jealousy bleeds into hateful attacks. And every one of us are welcome to have opinions that are different, that are diametrically opposed to the opinions of other influencers. That's okay. A lot of people that say they don't follow what I do in terms of teaching, and they're influencers, they have followings, they follow me. Why? They want to learn how I engage with social media. They're not trying to learn what I do, but they're watching and seeing how I do what I do, because I don't advertise. I don't do any of those types of things. But I know how to build a crowd, and I know how to manage a crowd. And I'm noticing around the world, things are getting very, very toxic. And these are the perfect climates where people can go off the rails and do crazy shit. And I don't want any of the people that look to me as a influencer. And so I believe genuinely, I believe they care to the degree that they say they do. I love you, ICT, and I appreciate everything you've done for me. They take it personal when people say things about me. And they want to do harm to these people that do that. I don't look at that stuff. That's why I'm showing you. I can laugh at this stuff and I ain't worried about it. Because 99% of it's all bullshit and fake. I'm not threatened by anybody out there. But I am concerned when my family members are being threatened. Now, they haven't been threatened in recent, but in the last couple of years, it's happened a few times. It got so bad I had to take it to the authorities. I had illegal tracking devices placed on my vehicles, on my wife's vehicle, by a person that wasn't licensed to do that in the state of Maryland. You go to prison when that's done. Like you have no idea what some of you are inviting when you join this mob mentality for fun. For fun. Like, I don't want that on my conscience. Somebody else, offing themselves because they can't handle it, or fear of something happening to them, and they just say, "Fuck it, I'm ending it." A lot of these people online, that's their whole life. That's their whole life. They've never amounted to anything except for what their social media presence is. And some of you think it's fun to see them suffering and going through some bullshit. And I'm not justifying anything they do if they did it wrong, but how you conduct yourself is important. Some of you are like, oh, if they take their own life, so what? Ha ha ha. You wouldn't think that way if you knew them. You wouldn't think that way if they were a family member. You wouldn't think like that until it comes home to roost. That's what I mean when I say stay away from the drama. Prop firm stuff, I could care less. And how I talk, I'm a sinner. I am a sinner. I sin every day. And when I talk, I'm talking from the heart. I'm reliving painful shit, man. This is not made up stuff. I walked through that stuff. And I'm carrying scar tissue. And when I'm talking to my kids. And when I get angry, just like you did, and just like all of you, you're going to say shit because you're angry. You're reliving it. It's fucking real. And you want the emphasis placed on it. You want the understanding. Hey, what I'm saying, it means something right now. There's some fucking weight to this. I could come out here and talk all philosophical. Never reach for a swear word. And you ain't going to listen to me. Because it's going to sound scripted. It's going to sound artificial. When you go through something, when you really go through some shit, you can't detach from that. You feel it again. And the stuff I'm talking about, I don't want any of you to go through that. Whether it's trading, life lessons, losing loved ones, suffering, placing money ahead of your own family members. That's the stuff that matters. And every other influencer out there would never touch those topics because they could be viewed as a downer. Nobody wants to hear about that shit, bro. Well, guess what? The real people do. The people that are quietly suffering through the same shit and just think that it's only them going through it. So yes, when I'm live, I'm going to cuss. Not because I want to. I don't sit there and think about, well, let me go back and let me see if I can make this spicier by saying a couple F words in here. No. I'm saying stuff because I'm tapped into things that hurt me. That hurt me, that made me angry, that victimized myself by doing these things and holding these mindsets. And I don't give a shit to hear about, oh, well, I wish I would have heard him talking about this live because I had my kids. You should have fucking known better by now. This isn't a pre-recorded video. 99% of you heard me before. So it's your responsibility to shield your children, not mine. It's not my responsibility to do those things. It's yours. So if you're in a condition where this might come across a little vulgar in some period, let me make sure I shield my children's ears. That's your job as the parent. That's not my fucking job. That's not my job. That's like going to a stand-up comic and taking your kids there and like, oh shit, Eddie Murphy just said the F word. Maybe this wasn't a good decision bringing my children. You know enough. You need to be aware that this could happen. And if I'm going to talk and it's in a live setting, it's not pre-recorded, chances are I'm going to tap into something I had to go through. And it may or may not incite enough emotion where I can't help it. I live it again. You can't place expectations on other people when they're trying to do the best they can to help you. I don't know a better way of doing it. I've said this before. I'm not the best mentor. I'm not the best one. I'm not the best ambassador with what's been given to me. Every single time I come out, I wish I would have done it a little bit differently. Wish I would have done it a little bit differently. What is that? That's my exit. It's always a work in progress. But I can step in shit like nobody else. My entry pattern, easy. Step right in it. Like Peter. Ready, fire, aim. And I did not make a mistake when I said that. Reactionary. Give me a wall to break through. I'm going to do it. That's the old me. That's the old me. And when we're going to have conversations like this, it ain't religion. It's relationship. And he convicts me every single time and tells me, well, you could have done that differently. Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. But I don't believe he looks at me and says, you're not trying. He knows that I'm trying. And I don't care if you don't believe in the him that I'm referring to. I don't care. Because if I can't have him part of the conversation, there's no conversation.
We got Pax Trader here. What's going on, Pax? Welcome to Trader Roundup.
What's up?
Not much, my man. We're just trying to kind of cleanse the room. I mean, as a host, I really, really try hard. And, sometimes it just gets to be a little heavy, a little contentious. And some folks can kind of take things, it can get, competitive even, right? And it's just nice to kind of try and dial that down, dial that out. And yeah, bro, it's nice to have you on, man. It's it's really nice to have you on. How you doing, brother? How's your week been? How are things?
Good. Things are great. Things are good. Things are good. It was a great trading week. It was great trading. It's still going. It was a phenomenal week. I've been listening in and out
Yes,
a
sir.
little bit and trying to pay attention. And I'm not exactly sure of what the central topic is. But one thing I told my wife a couple of weeks ago is, and I've said this, I think it's part of the general message that I propagate on Twitter is, I can't control what goes on in the war. I can't control what goes on in the market. I can't control, I don't watch podcasts anymore, even with people I agree with. I'm not going to watch news. I don't care. The only thing that I can control every day is becoming more faithful, more hopeful, and more loving. The three theological virtues that we're all given by God: faith, hope, and love. I can become more faithful, hopeful, and loving. I can become a better husband to my father, a better husband to my wife, a better father to my children, a better family member to my brothers, and friend to my friend, and whatever I am to you guys, a better whatever I am to you. That's it. I can control the controllables. That's all. Everything else is noise. Everything else is noise. This world is uncertain. There's a lot of evil things going on. There's a lot of evil all over the place, and I have to protect myself from it. I have to protect my kids from it. I have to wash myself in the blood of Christ, and I have to protect myself under his choir of angels so that I am protected from the demons that are going to come after me and after my family. And I have to pray for them and pray for you and pray for others so that we're all protected. And everything else I don't care about. You know, I'm here to make money. I'm here to be as profitable as I can be, and
I'm sorry. I think Pax, are you there? I accidentally pressed the button. That's my bad. User error. I apologize. Not done on purpose. Completely by accident. I fumbled my phone. I apologize for interrupting. It's my fault.
Where did I didn't know I got interrupted. Where did I leave off?
Like 5 seconds ago. I fumbled the phone. I accidentally hit a button. Again, I apologize, Pax. That's my fault. About maybe the last 30 seconds. Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, no, that's right. We're all here to make money, right? I mean, that's it, and to do it again and again and again. Now, we all know the stats, and these are real stats. I've owned an FCM. I've been a partner in an FCM, and I've backed more traders that are in this space with my own money. So I know that this is the truth. 90% of us are going to fail. Out of the 90% out of the 10% that don't fail, most are going to break even the way after a couple of years. And then, you know, out of the people that do stick around, about 1% are going to make enough to become wealthy. So, you know, anybody can make money trading futures, and I think or trading in general. I think you've all experienced that. It's not hard to make money. You know, it doesn't take a lot of talent. What's very difficult is doing it again and again and again. And as I talked about in that Ninja show this morning, how to increase your size, take more out of the market, trade less, take more out of the market, increase your size, especially with the ATR of 130 points. The S&P's got a 130-point range every day. So the most difficult part is not your trading process. You're trading ICTs, you're trading mine, or whoever's you're trading. That's not the most difficult part. You got to keep your trading objective, you know, and understandable and simple to understand, because the most difficult part of this business is what you're bringing to the screens and what you allow in. You need to have boundaries. I need to have boundaries. We all need to have boundaries. I am willing to accept this. I'm not, as I think I heard ICT talking about this. I am willing to accept this. I'm not willing to accept that. And that's it. You know, I mean, I don't, like I said earlier, I don't watch podcasts. I don't watch the news. I don't do any of those things because I'm very careful in what I let in. If you guys saw my Twitter feed, it's all Catholic stuff and people beating the shit out of each other. That's it. That's my son laughing. My 26-year-old son is in from Colorado. That's it. That's all it is Catholic stuff and people fighting. And I bought my season tickets back to the White Sox, and now White Sox stuff, and the White Sox suck, so, you know, whatever. So that's it. You know, I don't read anybody's tweets about trading. I don't care to. There's a great trader, one of the best traders that I'd ever seen and I'd ever known. His badge was MPV. Is still trading, super wealthy guy. Anyway, and all from trading. I ran into him the first time in a few years around COVID, and you know, and the markets were great. It was like old day money. I mean, the money was rolling in. It was so much fun. And I was short, and we're talking about the markets, and you know, I say, well, I'm short, you know, from 30, 32, 31. Don't tell me. I don't care what your position is. I don't want to know what your opinion is, and I don't want to know what your position is, because I don't want that to cloud what I see in the market and what I'm doing. And so, you know, and I run into him every so often. Our sons play baseball together. They're both in college now, but you know, they play in the same summer leagues together. So it's the same thing. We don't talk about our positions. I don't want to know, you know, and if I put out what I'm doing, I put out what I see, you know, I don't want to, I want to stay focused. I want to stay focused on my process and what I need to do, and I need to repeat it. I need to be able to scale it up, and I need to be able to scale it down and decide not to trade. And I need to be able to use real-time information to do that. So if I'm listening to this or that, or letting this in or letting that in, and I'm complicating things, I think you guys use the word confluence. All you younger traders use confluence. You know, I don't want that. I want things to be simple. I want to be able to control the controllables, because what I'm bringing to the screens, what I'm bringing to my life, what I'm bringing to my primary relationships, and what is most important to me, that's going to be affected by what I let in. So that's it. You know, I mean, I'm especially in the uncertain times, I'm controlling the controllables. and that's all I can do. That's all I can do. I don't worry too much. I am a very anxious person. I think by nature, maybe not by nature, but by nurture. I worry. I don't worry so much anymore. I'm not anxious very much anymore. I worry about my kids, of course, some more than others. As I look at my son, he's shaking his head mad at me. But that's it. I really don't worry much about them, because I know that God is my prayer for them, my prayer for my kids, my prayer for me, my prayer for all of you is not that they make millions of dollars, not that they make billions of dollars, not that they live long lives, that they live in faith, hope, and love, and that God increases their faith, hope, and love. That's it. Because if they do that, then they'll be able to be the richest people and the wealthiest people in the world. They'll be able to live the way that God has meant them to live. And, like the Gospel of Mark says, what does it profit a man to gain the whole world and to forfeit his soul? So if we grow in faith, hope, and love, whether I live to be 60 years old or I live to be 150, my life is going to bear fruit. I'm going to have a good life, and I'm going to stay focused and control the controllables, and I will achieve the beatific vision as God sees fit. That's it. That's all. Now, if I make money next week, good. As long as I don't blow what I've made this week, and continue on looking for places to increase, decrease, and not trade. That's what we're looking for. So, shun the noise. Simplify your life, simplify your trading, and grow in faith, hope, and love, and everything will always be okay. That's all I guess I wanted to say. Shit,
No, I'm here. Can you hear me, bro?
Yeah, and I got you, Vic. Yeah.
All right, good. I mean, thank you for being here, Pax. Thank you for contributing some positive energy with where we're at. We are Trader Roundup. It's Friday. We're like round 2. Been here most of the day. Lots of waves of different kind of conversations, different kind of vibes, different folks, different, things to think about and talk about. So, yeah, I mean, it's Friday, 5:00. This is like the heart of us doing Trader Roundup, keeping it real. We've heard from Tyler, Tommy. X is undefeated, apparently. I've lost both Lundo, who was here, as well as Pax. You there? Tommy, jump in, buddy.
What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm doing great, my man. How about yourself?
Not bad, not bad. I've spoken once before, but I'll do the protocol thing again.
Pretty pleased. Thank you so
yeah,
much.
got you. I'm 26 years old. I'm from Ohio. The way I engage with price is real simply just look for my relative equals during an opening range or macro, and then just trading the fair value gaps or order blocks that overlap my gradient levels. And I'm coming today because I've had this thing on my mind for a while now that I wrote in my journal as well, and I'm not really sure how to deal with, and I feel like there's some people here right now that can help me with it. Since I'm 6 years into my trading, I spent the first like 4 on that hunt just to find that consistency. And I gotta apologize, I'm very nervous. Natural introvert.
You're doing great. You're doing great, buddy.
I recently, last year, the biggest thing that I've dealt with in my trading is blowing up in a single day, like months of progress, right? Like consistent trading, pretty good technical analysis, but that risk management was just never there. Like I would always just have one day that blows tons of progress. Mid-year last year, 2025, I got into a place where I was like, okay, 1 month, 2 month, 3 month, no blowups, right? Now I'm sitting like 8, 9 months later, still in the same spot, and 3 months into the year, what I've done is I've made half of my salary at my 9 to 5 job in the first 3 months of the year, and it's something that it's like the type of money, I guess, that I've never really ran into, or the type of consistency that I haven't really dealt with, I guess, and on a psychological level. And I'm saying this very humbly. I'm not trying to brag or anything like that. I'm trying to find a way to deal with it because I feel like no one in the trading industry really talks about the psychological warfare that comes with consistency and winning, right? I've listened to thousands of hours of talks and trader psychology on that journey to find that profitability. But once you're there, it's like it sometimes it's hard to sleep at night and dealing with it. And I don't know if it makes any sense. I don't know if there's anyone here that can like relate to that. If there is, I would love to hear perspective on it. But um, it's not what I thought it would be. It's something that's very weird to deal with.
Yeah, I don't really have an opinion, Tommy. I'm listening, but there's plenty of other folks here, and I'd love to hear from them and their thoughts and opinions. So,
I know it's kind of weird. It maybe doesn't need to be answered right away, or maybe someone listens
well,
to
well,
this and they're like,
Bams has his hands up. I would love to have Bams, who has his hand up, maybe answer that question. He's a very good person that I would love to have Bams on. Bams, high five, buddy. Much love. Josh is here too. Josh Ash, another great person that a very two OG, two of the original Trader Roundup, I will say, founders as far as original spaces. Josh and Bams coming up here. So definitely long time listeners and contributors. So much love, Josh. Much love, Bams.
Yo, long time. How's everything going? Yeah, it's been a long time.
I'm giving you a big hug, you and Josh, both you guys together. And I know you're more of the introvert, Bams. So,
Yeah.
how's it going, my man? I mean, you're up here. What are your thoughts and 2 cents on all this?
No, I hear what Tommy's saying.
Yeah.
Tommy, what was your question? I just want to know what your question was.
Yeah, Tommy, will you ask the question pretty please?
yeah, short version is just someone who has found that footing and consistency that they've been really searching for like 5 years. That just kind of, if I could have just someone speak on like the psychology that comes with, because it's like you spend all this time like thinking it's going to be all sunshine and rainbows and great, but then you get there and it's like that someone kind of spoke on it before, but that you yearn for more, but then and it's not a fear of it going away, because I did have that within that first, 1, 2, 3 months of no blowups, but now I'm like coming on to a year where there's no blowups, and it's just like it's very hard to put into words, but
Yeah.
if you know what I mean.
Yeah, no, I hear what you're saying. I mean, this is like my 6th year of trading. And I feel like for the first time in 6 years, I feel like now I'm starting to feel some level of consistency. But I feel like it comes from a place of your own state of mind. And for me, when I started trading the last 6 years, I had many ups and many downs. But my problem was I kept overcomplicating. So my weaknesses was like I kept overcomplicating my concepts. So I just kept, finding new shiny toys and just mix everything together, which harmed my ability to trade. So it's like trading is like a warfare where you can run away from people, but you can't run away from yourself, and that's something you cannot avoid. So you can run away from blow up accounts, all those types of stuff, but you cannot run away from your weaknesses. So you have to face it head on and look in the mirror and be like, right, why am I here? And what ways could I mitigate those weaknesses? Because that's the only way you can get to the other side, by mitigating your weaknesses. Like for me, my weakness was I overthink and I take too much on in one go. But what I've done recently was I found a trading model where I feel like it captures everything that I've learned, but it keeps it really, really simple. And I think that simplicity has allowed me to, like for example, my model is similar to GXT's. If you guys know what GXT is, it's similar to his, where trading the deferred candle to distribution, or T trades. I feel like that me simplifying my own concepts has allowed me to just focus on the mental capital I reserve my rental capital on a time period of New York, so that's the only time I've traded. So I don't trade any outside the time of New York. So if I don't find a trade in New York, I'm done for the day. So it's all about simplifying your process, looking for your journal, find any weaknesses. Like I think journal is a massive thing as well. I feel like for you, I feel like you're confused where you know you have many ups and many downs. You need to look at your journal and find out, okay, what is the picture, what is the image that you're um displaying, what's reflecting of yourself, and what ways can you help mitigate those weaknesses? Because then it's like it makes your trading a lot more smoother. Like for me now, I feel like this is the first time in my life where I'm trading, but in a very smooth way, and I don't have to think so much. I know what I'm looking for, and if I don't get what I'm looking for, I'm done for the day. I don't force it. I don't even if I lose, it's part of the process and it's part of just the cost of business. And also just the fact of like, I just know that I have an edge now for the first time. And I know that over a period of time, it's going to pay off as well. So it's all about knowing your edge, knowing yourself as well. Have a journal, write down your journal to build that image of your trading and your psychology and yourself. So once you know that full image, you start to get clarity of what ways you can simplify your process and what ways you can help improve your process as well. So, like for me, before I used to trade EU, GU, NQ, oil here, there. I just kept it to just one market, one model, one approach, and it's been bearing fruit for me so far. So, I literally just got back from trading. I haven't traded in the past year and a half. I took a long break because I had to face myself, though I didn't want to give up. I always said to myself, I don't want to give up on trading. That's something I never wanted to do. I never want to give up on trading. I don't think anyone else should give up on their trading as well, because I feel like once you overcome those obstacles, it's hard. Like trading is extremely hard. Like no one, like it's brutal, you know. So you have to um be kind to yourself. Don't put too much pressure on yourself to get it right, everything in one go. Rome isn't built overnight. It's a constant evolutionary process of yourself to improve yourself over the course of time. And then when you improve yourself, your trading naturally follows as well. And then once you understand your weaknesses, you're able to understand, right, this is the best way to go about it. All social media and saying, oh, I made X amount in 3 or 2 months, is just basically ignore the noise, follow your own path. And your path is the best path for you. Everyone's chapters is different. And that's what I've done. Do you know what I mean? I've isolated myself to find myself, and I found my trading with it as well. So now, for the first time in my life, I'm actually bearing consistency, and I feel like now I'm making decisions, good decisions, that's not weighing on myself, and I'm just following the process, and I'm just following. I know the process over time is going to pay me, so I'm just patient, and I think that's how I done it. Because obviously, 6 years, anyone can give up in 3 years, 4 years. I've seen some people come and go in the trading thing, but I feel like when you keep going and you keep going and keep applying pressure in your own lane, the gold will start to eventually show. It could be 10 years, it could be 8 years, it could be 7 years from when you started. But once that gold shows, the image starts to get clearer for you. You're able to trust that edge and take it forward in your own trading career, and you start to bear fruit
Can
from
I
it.
ask you
So
a
that's
quick
just,
question?
yeah.
So we've been trading like the same amount of time now, 6 years. And
Yeah.
when I first started, I was like 20. One of one of the like the driving motivators was I wanted to make a bunch of money and show all my friends and just like little immature shit like that. But now when I've gotten to the point at this point in my career where I'm seeing the success that I've been striving for so long, I don't
Yeah.
wanna tell anyone. Like, this is the only person I've told is my fiance, and, like, my family has no idea. They think I just, like, work some shitty little job, and my friends kinda, see it the same way, and have you had that experience as well, where now that you have gotten to a spot where you are, um, proud of, I guess you could say, that you just wanna kinda keep it to yourself?
Um, I hear what you're saying. I'm in a spot as well, where now it's like I think I've found something that works for me. And for me, it's like I just let my results do the talking really. I don't really really brag too much about what I found for myself. I feel like one thing about me is that my most important for me personally is just following the process, because at the end of the day, you want to change your life and you want to build wealth that, you know, that's good for you. And if you, whatever purpose is for you on why you do trade in the first place. But I do understand where it's like, you know, you worked for so long and now it's kind of like you found something that works for you. Though, you know, when you develop a level of consistency over time, I think it's always good to share your progress and share your journey to others so you can inspire other people as well. You don't necessarily have to brag or do anything crazy, but it's just literally just showing up and just posting wherever you post, whether it's every day you gain 2% or so, or you made a few losses here and there. I think it's always good to show off other people as well and inspire them that this actually works, because I think self-belief is a massive thing in trading, because trading is a long, hard road. And like Kit, with this spaces that even till now, I think I've been on trading roundup for I think since December 2022.
Yeah,
And
I was just gonna say December 2022, when there was very, very few people in here. You and who's getting ready to come up, Josh, were two of the very, very first people in these very first foundational conversations that we were having that long ago. It was 2022 mentorship and then starting the 2023. But Bams, remember back in the day we were talking literally like, I mean, you're talking about your girl, right?
yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, like we're talking about relationships, the same kind of stuff we're talking about right now, but it's just like it's real, right? Like, and it's
yeah.
also helpful. At the end of the day, like it don't matter how many people are in wherever, but like you can be supportive and help someone else. And these are like a good space to do that, right?
Yeah, of course. And as I said to Tommy, like, continue to follow your process. Of course, like, you know, that's the most important thing, you know. But also as well, I think there are people here even in this space that needs to be okay, believe that this is actually real, because you know, like I said, trading is a long road and it's a lonely road, it's a hard road. And the battle of continuously facing against yourself all the time is not an easy thing to do. So I think it's always good to share your experiences with other people that people can relate to, and be like, look, I've been training for 6 years, and the moment I feel like I've given up, but this person done it for 6 and he's done it. So it gives them the thought of perspective, okay, you know, maybe I can do this, you know, maybe I can continue going. And that's just literally what it is. I think it's just for me, is trade is all about how strong you are and your perseverance to continue to keep going, in reshaping yourself, refining yourself. And when you refine yourself, you also refine your approach to trading as well. And then that should help with long-term consistency. But yeah, that's it for me really.
Bam's great conversation, great contribution by our boy Bams, and I want to follow that up and bridge and segment straight to Josh. I love this convo. I feel like it was meant to. It's like full circle, getting Bams and Josh right after each other in this. How's it going, Josh?
What's up?
How what can you maybe? I know you've got plenty to answer. Do you mind just stepping in?
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, Tommy, I mean, and everybody, I think Tommy's point is a big one, that, you know, it's the struggle to just find any kind of consistency or profitability. Like it feels like if I could just find a mechanism, find a technique, find a skill to just like to be able to do that, then I've arrived, right? But like, unfortunately, that's where the journey actually starts. Like when you actually do learn something that has edge, and you get to a point where you can start to implement it and start to see the success of it, that's when it shows us that we are the ones in our way. That shows us when we have a lack of confidence, or a fear, or a trauma, or a self-limiting belief. That's where like the fear of losing, or the fear of being rejected, or the you know, the lack of self-worth come in. And that's where when that comes in, it arises as like subconscious patterns of behavior that just override your technical abilities, and you get taken out. That's where the blow-ups happen. That's where the blown accounts happen. That's where 2 or 3 weeks or months of work get lost in one session. And that's really where the hard work begins. Like, it feels like at first the hard work is finding something that has edge, but quite honestly, there is lots and lots of methods that have edge in the market. And so that's where, like, you know, the work with the journaling, but more important, reflecting on the journaling and meditating or praying on what we're doing, like self-reflection and metacognition about what we're doing, that continuous cycle. And so, yeah, like when you first start getting consistent or profitable, especially if you've had what you alluded to there, Tommy, with the boom bust cycle, where at getting to that point, even where you're at right now, you've already experienced the, hey, I could go a couple of weeks or a couple of months, but I know the dragon can arise, the demon can arise at any moment and just take me out. And that takes a long time and a lot of work to build trust in ourselves, to not blow ourselves up. And that isn't talked about enough. You're right. It's difficult. And then, you know, you were living a life of, yeah, just some podunk job, but now you're making money you've never really dealt with before, and you're how do I change this, especially like my life, without boasting and without bragging, but also feel comfortable that I'm not going to sweep the rug out from myself, you know, at any moment. So like, it kind of like, I think what happens with not telling our parents, not telling people, is a lot like when people are pregnant and they want to get past a certain trimester, right? You want to trust that this is there before you kind of arise as this new Tommy or new Josh with a new life and a new standard of living. And so it's tumultuous. It keeps you up at night. But it is part of the process. And the whole process of learning to do that, to learning to trust ourselves, to learning to be more stable, to reflecting on our own things and growing from it, is not only what makes us a better trader, but it is what makes us a better person. It is what makes us a better family member and community member. Like, and so, yeah, it's a hard process, but it is normal, Tommy. Like, and I think anybody that's kind of been that, as somebody, I've been doing this since like 98. I went through a whole process. I made lots of money, and then I lost a lot more money. And even up until just recently, spent a lot of time like having to rebuild myself, because I had a lot of trauma, a lot of just a difficult life. And so, you know, I think for us that have had like more maybe challenging lives, it takes longer. Maybe I was just more bullheaded to go through all of it. But like, that's why I speak with this stuff as passion, is because someone who kind of had to do it the hard way so many times and had so many screwed up things I've had to, and I'm still working on. And I think that to finish this up is, what you have to accept is that this life, especially as a trader, is a non-stop battle of self-improvement that results in just a better and better you and a better and better life that reflects outwards. And your P&L and everything is just and your standard life and the peace in life and the trust is just a reflection of all of that work of where you are at any time. But it's difficult, and like with every zero you add, every count you add, with every like new thing that comes along, you have a new challenge to grow. But the more challenges we have to grow, and the more that we face that and work through it and accept it, the better we come. And like, the more of us that do that, the more of us that are being the change, we become the change we want to see. We exude the light. We be part of the problem, part of the solution, and not focus on the problem. And it's a really good endeavor to embark on, but it's not for everyone to do. But if you're going to do it, just accept that it's a lifetime journey of growth and challenge. And if, as long as you're up for that, it'll be there. But that being said, there is a point, and I feel like I've kind of recently, where you kind of, it settles. It's not always this tumultuous, dark, you know, crazy thing. You do get into a point where, like you do get profitable. You start to have comfort. You start to have trust in yourself. Do things still arise? Of course, but it starts to like mitigate and become less and less as you have a better foundation and become more stable and trustworthy in yourself. And as you work through each thing and you build up that bigger base, it does get easier. Like it's not that just because the battle never ends, you don't get some cruise control that you do. It is worth it. But just keep going on, man. Like and just know what you're dealing with is very, very normal.
Ooh.
That was beautifully said. Thank you, Josh. It feels like I've been trying to like put that exact thing in like from thought into words, and that was just that. So thank you.
Could I add just quickly? One thing you want to do is, I mean, you're constantly trying to kind of sharpen the sword. So once you first you struggle so long to kind of figure out what you're looking for, and then you kind of find it. And then you got to kind of come to terms with it. You got to kind of have peace with it. And having peace with your tools that you utilize within your hands, that's a process. But finding peace within yourself and finding peace within the tools that you're utilizing, there's a level of something that you will fight against, and that is complacency. Like you're going to feel comfort, but you don't want to feel complacent. So there's this balance of where and how you can feel comfortable but not complacent. So you want to constantly sharpen that edge, sharpen that sword. So maybe for some of you, you're like, nah, I don't need to listen to Michael anymore. But then maybe some of you guys are like, well, this is, I'm home. This is just what I do. So you tap in, you're still doing your thing. Like I definitely don't think there's a problem with saying Michael could be talking about the market and looking at potentially going in a trade or outlining where and how price could be going. I could be already engaged in price. I could be in a counter position based on my model, but I could still be listening to and engaged within the lecture, not because I'm fading the mentor, but because I'm actively engaged in what my trade plan is that has absolutely nothing to do with the lecture series in which I'm engaged in listening to. That doesn't change me, the trader, from trying to sharpen my edge and my sword. Maybe that's not going to be something you're doing simultaneously to trading. But I mean, like what Josh is saying, I think what Bams is saying too, Tommy. I mean, finding peace with your edge is really half the battle. Finding peace with yourself is the other half. And understanding that this is a continual process. It is constantly evolving. You're in a market and a market consciousness. You are part of that market consciousness. So you have to understand, just as we are a collective consciousness of traders, there is a market consciousness. So the consciousness is aware of us. And I believe Michael talked about that today, right? And like the influence of a lot of people placing a lot of orders at once and what could be happening and the presence and understanding of what is happening, right? You don't have to say all knowing. You could say AI. You could definitely say it's an intelligence. I believe that there's definitely a market consciousness, a market intelligence that we all engage with. And it's really up to you to apply your model to, the chart.
I kind of want to speak on what you said about sharpening that sword too, because
Yes, sir.
I definitely agree with refinement, right? Like if I hadn't kept up with the 2025, 2026 mentorship and I didn't start applying the gradients to my trading, I don't believe I would have seen the jump that I did.
Ooh, I love that feedback, actually. So you're a 2023 guy, and then you've been sharpening the sword through
Well,
the 25 and
I'm
26. Is
actually
that
a
right?
2022 guy. That's when I first
Okay, you're
started.
2022. again, like it's funny, Bams is here, Josh is here. Original Trader Roundup was at the very end of 2022, and then we went into 2023.
Yeah.
So like that break, 2022 was ending. You know, Michael went on winter break, and that's really when we started Trader Roundup. And then when he came back in February that year, 2023, we started 2023, 24, 25, and 26 now, right? So it's kind of awesome. It's kind of awesome, bro.
Continuing off of that, that
Yes,
refinement,
sir. Yes, sir.
I think that a lot of people in here would see the jump that they'd want to see if they took learning and refining their risk management, if they took their risk management protocol as serious as they took learning new concepts or watching the next new video or learning the next new PD array, I think they would see the jump that they want to see. Because what I've learned in the last year is that it doesn't matter what the fuck you trade. I used to be all, if you don't trade ICT, then you're not trading the market the right way. And there's a part of me where of course I still do believe in that, but
Yeah, well, I still think the
there's
same thing, but
I
that's okay.
learned that
I love you for that.
what I really learned is that it all comes down to risk management. And if people took that as serious as they took their technical analysis, I think they would see the success that they want to see.
I love that. And I'll say this, risk management is, in my opinion, an advanced concept. I mean, this is just how I would lay it out to anybody. Core content takes a year to learn. I don't care what anyone says. You can try and fast forward all you want. It's going to take you a year to learn. You can learn fill in the blank year of the mentorship with core content, but you have to allow yourself a full year of watching and witnessing the market. This is my personal opinion. You must consume all of core content over the course of a year during whatever mentorship year that is. Why? Because that is a reflection of the market conditions that you're in. But core content is going to be what you sit with. It's what you're going to go to bed. That's what you're going to sleep. That's how you are going to build and understand the foundation. Why people think I'm like, I quote what I quote because I'm as passionate as I am, because I do believe wholeheartedly in the foundation for any student to succeed. If you apply it with an academic rigor, meaning if you treat the ICT YouTube channel with a curriculum, with a methodology towards the actual mentorship as well as the core content. And if you don't know what to do, guess what? Go in order 1 through 12. I know it's complicated, guys. I know. We're going to just go 1 and then 2 and then 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and then 12. I know. It's a really crazy concept, but that's what you're going to do. And you're going to take, in my opinion, you take a year to learn that, and you patiently observe the market. You treat the market as it is explained. You're in lab. You have to understand the market as a student. You need to approach it with the annotations of that of a technical science. And what folks don't understand is how Michael and ICT's YouTube channel is showing you how to approach the market scientifically, technically. And that technical science is replicable. How is it replicable? Because you're creating a schematic. It's a process and a procedure. Folks who understand process and procedure can identify with where and how, as a process and procedure, it's defined through a methodology that also is utilizing a process and procedure. So it's very well thought out within its delivery. And then you have very much you don't have Ratchet ICT, you have Mr. Rogers ICT, right? Ratchet ICT is for the spaces, and Mr. Rogers ICT is, okay, folks, right? So that delivery that you get to go back onto, you need to treat it just like you would an online university and an online education. And when you can apply yourself to the content, and then you have to absorb the content, and then you have to be able to utilize it onto the chart. So there, you have to absorb it to then actually, like, there's an absorption as well as digestion, both. And that is a process, and you cannot deny that process. The sooner that you implement money, the sooner that you implement your will, your ego, your circumstance onto the chart, and you do not focus on the science for being the science and annotating it as you would a person studying chemistry, a person studying physics within the lab. You have class lecture on day X, and then you have lab on day Y. That's how technical science works within an academic environment. Those are your market reviews as well as your lectures in your lecture series. That's the mentorship as well as the core content. You're being delivered a broad aspect or a way in which you could try to comprehend some very difficult concepts that take a long time to understand. But then once you understand them, you have a level of power. You have a level of empowerment as a human being, as a trader, as a provider. When you can tap into yourself, that can tap into the market. Again, that's you really speaking to and resonating from a higher vibration. And how do I know that? Why do I say that? Because I've been there. I've done that. I've also been a piece of shit. I also know what it's like to crash as a wave against the market, which is the immovable land. So you get to kind of go with the flow and be part of the river and really become zen and come to terms with what it is to receive abundance. Or you're going to be the tide rolling in, slapping yourself against that hard rock as it comes pouring into the land. And you have that option to be a wave crashing against the shore or to go with the flow. And that's really going to be where you focus your vibration, your energy, your thoughts, right? We're always a reflection of that. If we bring positive reflections and positive energy, there will be that reflected upon us. And these are when we say irrefutable facts, they're experiential facts, which is very much what learning Michael's concepts is a lot what it's about. It's an experiential understanding of the market, yes, but also yourself. There's a change of character. Ironic, the terminology, isn't it? The double entendre. Because it really, really is the Easter egg. Again, I'll utilize that term, the change of character. We talk about a market structure shift, these things that you as a trader must go through. Anyway, that's the conversation. It's really good having Josh Bams here, having Michael here, Pitt Munch co-hosting. I got a couple co-hosts. I was afraid I was going to lose the connection here, so I'm glad we didn't. Tommy, did we answer it all?
Yeah, I think we pretty much covered it.
Good. Alex, you there, buddy?
Hey, what's up, Kitt, brother? How are you?
I'm doing very good, my friend. How about yourself?
I'm doing well, brother. And I wanted to say one thing to Michael. I hope next week you have a happy, healthy, and blessed Easter tomorrow or next week with your family. I know it's going to be exciting. It's going to be your first Easter as a grandfather. That's going to be a blessing, man. That's going to be crazy. Like I'm hyped for you. So I hope you and your family and your brand new grandson all have a blessed and happy, healthy Easter. And I have 3 questions for Michael, really quickly. One was I've just been seeing like from other traders like on Twitter and stuff, and like looking at the markets right now, like guys who've been trading 10, 20, 30 years. They're saying like this is one of the most difficult, like manipulated markets like they've seen in a while. Like you haven't seen this in the 90s, 80s, 2000s. Like this one's a roller coaster, like especially what we're seeing with the manipulations in the metals, them going up and the banks manipulating them down, with what we're seeing with crude oil doing moves that hasn't been seen since the 70s. So would you say like, I wouldn't say like difficult, because obviously you can find, your lion's portion in any market, but would you say this is like one of the most manipulated markets you've seen? Like we were trading with Kitt the other day, and like we saw like an order block form and a fair value gap. Like we saw a clear unicorn model, and we were watching that, and then price just stagnated and then traded down into it, and then back up, and then rated it even further, and then back up, and then just rated it ultimately down, and just like crazy unalgorithmic price action. But like, so yeah, what would you say about this price action in 2025 or 2026 so far?
Well, real quick, Alex, your follow up questions. What are they? Put them together. I want all three. He's answered this before, but give me all of your questions in one go, because I don't want a follow up. Oh yeah, this question. Oh yeah, that
Yeah,
question. What are your
for sure, I
questions?
got you. And then I don't know if you guys saw like that report about like 5 minutes before Trump came out with that tweet about, oh, we're doing good with Iran and we're in talks and whatever. How some guy put an over $1.5 billion trade on the ES, and then like a $900 million
Right,
short on
right,
crude. And just
right.
his thoughts on that manipulation, and like, I mean, that clearly must have been like a Trump insider or something, but that's some crazy manipulation. And then just another last thing too. I was watching an interview with that Larry Williams did recently, and he was just talking about market cycles, and he was talking about like how he watches the cycles for the last 40 years, and he's been watching like studying the interest rate cycles, and he's been like saying like, oh, I knew we'll peak at low interest rates at this time, and we're going to be going through higher interest rates. And it's like that's something that he's been studying, and he introduces into his swing trading and uses a lot. And I was just wondering if, I know Michael uses a lot of seasonality and stuff like that, but just if he utilizes anything similar like that, like Larry Williams is using in his swing trading.
I mean, Alex, those are your three questions, bro. I'm happy to invite Michael to top in, but I would also invite you to tap into his existing content, because nothing you have asked are things that are anything that has not been recently covered or talked about.
Hey, Kit, I got a couple
Yes,
seconds.
sir.
I can reply.
Pretty pleased, sir. I didn't mean to be that guy. I was
That's
just wanted
okay.
to reiterating
I
that,
was
that you did
thinking
answer
I
a
was
lot of this
I was
stuff.
waiting for
So
you to saying it, but I actually said some of these things in the first portion of the other space before you started the new one that I wasn't supposed to be a part of the second one in. the
it wasn't that you weren't supposed to be a part
yeah,
of. I was just starting a second one because you said you
no, no,
were
no.
going, but then I didn't. I mean, there were DMs and whatnot. It ended up being a little more intense than I even thought it would be. But I mean,
That's
whatever.
all
I'm
right.
glad you came back in, though.
My wife
Yeah, I appreciate you being here. Thank
my
you.
wife was supposed to be doing something, and now we just changed plans, so we're gonna be walking up. The point of the level of manipulation. I was listening to Pax. He came in after me a little bit ago, and I wish somebody would have asked him. And if you follow him, and if you see how he comments on the state of affairs and how he interprets all that stuff, it'd be interesting to see what his view of recent price action and how the markets are trading. Um,
Pax has a fascinating take on a lot of stuff, Michael. I mean, I follow him around, and he has a very fascinating take. You would appreciate. I mean, I think you would get along with Pax in real life. I think you guys would be friends. So I just say that, like, as someone who follows him and you. So
What I was saying was like, excuse me, the question was posed to me like, do I think this is hard right now? And I've stated pretty candidly, the last few times I've come out in public, whether it be in a space here or in my own live streams. So yeah, in the last 34 years, I have not encountered a market as manipulated as this one is right now. So disjointed, so heavily manipulated everywhere. You have to respect the likelihood of you getting smoked if you're over leveraged. And I think it's testimonial by, like you just mentioned, by saying that there was an observation that the market put on just moments before the tweet or the announcement of Trump, and then there was all kinds of volatility after it was made. I mentioned that, and I kind of led everybody to anticipate that kind of stuff coming in. So I do believe that there's a fleecing. There's people that are in there doing things to take advantage of it, and we're not going to be able to stop it. You can't do anything around it. You can't treat around it. You're just going to have to assume that risk when it makes itself, prevalent. I don't think that cycles are the thing. I looked at Larry Williams' stuff. Like he's my ICT guy. Right? He's my hero. And a lot of the things that, unless I give him credit out of the things that I talked about, a lot of the things I don't actually subscribe to. But his stuff in regards to like market cycles and whatnot, I don't personally subscribe to it. He may make it work for himself. He may see that stuff and it's useful for him, but I don't personally think that's applicable for myself. But I'm going to be traveling here, so I may not be able to talk to you, so I'll be just listening. I hope I answered your question, by the way, son.
Thank you so much, Michael. That perfectly answered my question. And thank you so much for your time. And like I said, may you have a happy, healthy, and blessed Easter with your family, and especially with your grandson. Congratulations, my man. Thank you for everything.
Thank you, Pat. You as well.
high five, buddy. Got Pit Munch and Josh holding it down with me here. Heard from Tommy, Alex. Oh, I've got Lex here. I'm really Lex, come on up, pretty please.
Hey, what's
Kitt,
up,
are you there?
Trader Roundup?
Kitt, are you there?
What's going on?
Uh,
Yeah, we got Lex and Pit Munch. Can you hear me?
Kitt might have lost connection.
Uh-oh.
I can hear both of you.
Can you hear Kitt?
I think.
Yeah, I can hear
Okay,
I can hear
don't
Pit
him,
Munch
so
as
I'll
well.
go on mute.
Yeah, I think Pip, you probably need to actually bounce out and come back in. It sounds like you.
Yes.
All right.
Yes. Well, good thing is we have layers here, so that should be good. We have layers of hopefully protection as far as the multi co-host helps with our protection. So my boy Josh helped holding it down, Pit Munch as well. Lex, very compelling story last time on Trader Roundup. Welcome back. Michael is with us this time. Pretty please reintroduce yourself. I thought, very lovely contribution last time. So high five again, sending you, a little high five and a hug,
Man, I'll take all the high fives and hugs I can get right now. Appreciate that.
I feel you. Yeah, I feel you.
Yeah, sending it right back, man. I'm outside in the sunshine at work. I stepped out for a second. My name is Alexis. I'm 38. I'm from Alaska. I was a basketball player turned tattooer turned trader. All kind of not by choice. I was kind of guided, like life kind of kept throwing sticks in my spoke. And so I just had to pivot, and trading is definitely, I feel like, my purpose and my passion, most definitely, no matter how hard it gets. Like, I definitely love it. And it's like I said last time, has made me a better human being. Everyone that has spoke today too, thank you for the message. Oh no. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you
Okay.
great. Keep going. You're good.
Okay.
You're good.
Saying the connection's lost.
I
So
know X is undefeated. X is undefeated. We can hear you
okay,
though.
cool, cool. I was like, oh shit. I'm like, it's showing that I don't have any connection. So um everyone that spoke today, I just want to say thank you. I really needed Josh, especially what you were saying. I got my first like few payouts, and this week I had a huge accident. I got on my live account and I got on the big boy contracts on accident and placed an order through the big boy contracts on NQ when it should have been the micros, and I blew my account, and it was during that Trump. I was like in where you were in, Kit. I was in that move, and I was over leveraged on an account that I could, I would have been fine if it was micros, right? And I would have made thousands of dollars and been able to pull it out that day. Instead, I, made that accident. It was early in the morning. I think it was like, I don't know, it was like 1:32 in the morning for me, and at the gym on the bike, and yeah, so they, sent me. I watched all this money go up in my account, and I was like, oh, and I closed it out because I was like, oh, I'm like, whoa. And then I got the email that I had breached my account. And what did I do? I spun out. I tilted. I was
Oh,
like,
that
yeah.
had to be an emotional roller coaster, huh?
Oh, absolutely. Especially like finally getting to that point where you're talking about like being profitable. And now it's like, okay, now the beast is being consistent. And like, I know the edge is there. I know I'm there. Now it's just like, okay, but I tilted out hard, and I want to say thank you to Boss Lady. Last weekend was kind of talking about that scenario where like we get these accounts and like we can burn through them, and I did that, and I harmed myself, and I know I harmed myself, and so I've been sitting here like working through my mind at work, just okay, like it's just a bad week. How do we pivot again and like build ourselves back up from those mistakes? And so, Josh, I just want to say, like, what you said really resonated with me. I'm on that journey myself, and like I've had a lot of money come my way. My story is very multi-layered, and eventually I will share more. If you'll allow me. I come from a very unique background. My dad was a carpenter, drug dealer, you know what I'm saying? And like my mom's an addict, and I've walked many paths myself, and integrating all those paths into this person that I want to become now is one of the harder journeys, but the most rewarding. And so even though this was a terrible week for me and I'm upset with myself, I'm still very optimistic and knowing that I can take those mistakes and I can learn from them because
Lex, I lost you. Come back.
Yeah, it's her.
You can hear her?
No, yeah, she's out. I'm just confirming
Yeah.
it's her.
Okay. I'm following her. I really have enjoyed her within the space and learning more about her story. She's a good I'm very interested in learning more about her. Lex, I'm bringing back up. Oh, there's my boy Josh.
She might have to
I
restart
was
the app.
Yeah, I mean, you're making a very good point. I mean, X is undefeated. It definitely happens. We have tech difficulties. I was getting like flashed as well, like disconnected and whatnot myself. So I understand that's like, you
can you hear
there,
me?
Lex? Yes, yes,
Okay.
we can hear you.
Okay.
Great.
Awesome.
Pretty, please continue. You're back.
Yeah.
It's all
I was like,
good.
oh man. I mean, I'm working at a facility, but and we don't really have the best internet or anything. And so I'm gonna keep this short and sweet because I do gotta get back to work. But just like I could keep telling myself and like, God is speaking to my spirit, like, just keep going. Like the journey is finding yourself and finding what you're really about, and that grit and that determination, and being able to self-correct and become the best version of yourself. And we're lucky enough to look at it every day in the mirror of trading, and how we handle our losses says a lot more about who we are than, I say, winning. And I've competitively played. I've done a lot of things very competitively, and at the end of the day, I'm very grateful to be humbled. I'm very grateful for the journey. And thank you all really for sharing, because it keeps me going, especially when times are tough. And I just wanted to share, like, you can be profitable one day and then the next day, like, completely blow up. But, like, how are you going to handle it? How do you handle it? And that's what makes you, I would say, as a trader. And I'm just still a little, trader taught, and so I'm looking forward to doing some self-reflection this week and listening to everybody else today, and just stepping up as a better version of myself and getting 1% better every day next week, and holding myself accountable. So I'm going to start sharing my charts and really, like, my experiences more, because it helps me, be accountable. But thank you, Kitt. And I really appreciate, like, the hug and the high five and just your energy as a whole. And Michael, I don't think you were on last time, but I hope you have a very lovely Easter with your family. Thank you for everything that you have given me, and all of us, from from the bottoms of my heart. Truly mean that. Very, very grateful. And yeah, I'm gonna get back to work just because I'm stepping out. But
Right on, right on. There's we had a trader roundup, one of these in the past. It's funny because we got to get them kind of categorized now, right? You gotta just. But anyway, you did come on and you had a very, very, very nice introduction, and yeah, we'll have to peel that out.
yeah, man, I really appreciate it, and I hope you have a lovely weekend, everyone. Um, let's all just keep getting better.
Love it. Great energy for sure, no doubt.
Absolutely. Likewise, man. Y'all take it easy.
Dom's here. Frank, we heard from
Thanks for
Lex.
having me.
Great. We love having you on. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here. Much love.
Yeah, great story,
You
man.
know,
Great hearing hearing a story like that, man. It just was reminding me. I'm gonna be quick, Kitt. How you doing, Kitt? Good to see you or talk to you.
I'm doing fantastic,
Hello,
Dom.
everybody. Michael, everyone. So it reminds me listening to Tommy from before and Lex just now. Like it was like October of 23 when I came onto one of these spaces here. I just met you. I was like, not crying, but like, you know what I'm saying? I was frustrated and I was damn near crying about how I could not stop myself from buying these evals. And like, I had got one payout, so I know I had it figured out. Like, but I just keep losing this money. I can't stop myself. And I had a bunch of other shit going on in my life at the time, man, like dealing with all kinds of stuff that I did to myself behind poor decisions beforehand. But now I'm calling into this station today to tell you that I've been getting payouts the past 3 weeks in a row. I ain't buying no boats and no planes or anything, but I'm taking regular payouts
My man.
right now.
My
Right.
man.
And it was like bi-weekly before that. It's getting regular. I'm keeping it kind of regular. So it's more of like an update to the challenge that we talked about here, 3 or 4 weeks ago. I think ICT was talking about, you make $1,000 in a month with one micro. And I've been into this a little bit longer, I think, than maybe some of the people he was presenting with that challenge. But I've been keeping it 2-3 micros. You know what I mean? Sometimes just one micro. I had one of my 2 funded accounts. I almost blew it because I had a big blow up day last Friday, man. Lost $1,000 and only got like, $2,000 in the account because I keep taking payouts. And so I switched to ES. I switched to ES last night, had like $286 off one MES because it did, what I was hoping it would do. And then I didn't trade at all today, man. And that has been the most beneficial thing to my trading is stopping when I get my piece for the day. And so
Though you like to trade the overnight session, don't
I
you?
do like the overnight,
I know it.
but I also like half of that RTH gap. a lot, man. I mean,
That is pretty gangster for
yeah, I
sure.
back tested that quite a bit this past year. I talked about it on here a little bit before, but it's pretty interesting how often it goes 2/3 too. Like, because we set up one of them little strategy testers to kind of do the work for us, but also manually did it in Excel sheet for about 15 months worth of time there. And what I'm really looking for is when we move away about 60 handles or like 0.23 basis points away from the gap without filling it, and then come all the way back for the middle of the gap. That's
Ooh.
that's the one right there. And
Ooh.
then so incorporating first percent of fair value gap and like trying, the other when is it just not gonna go? What's going on in the higher time frame?
I like hearing you incorporating these numbers, right? Like you know me, man. I'm a big huge proponent of numbers, and when you can define a range or even I mean Michael's talked about 37 handles, we talk about 65 handles, we talk about where how you're going to get your points within whatever move and how quickly are you going to get it,
Yeah,
right? And to your point, Dom's story, Dom is construction professional similar to
yeah.
myself. He's worked in the blueprints and pricing and estimating, so and costing. So I believe, and Jade Cap's done the same, as have other folks, but I can speak on behalf of our profession where and how you view a blueprint. You're transposing the scale of a blueprint to the financial charts with where and how you're measuring the financial chart as if it were a engineered document.
And the music
Correct?
too, correct? Absolutely. And I know you've
Oh, I
used
love
this
that music
analogy before.
parts.
I started playing guitar when I was 10 years old, man. I used to read sheet music and like music
I
theory
love
and all
that.
that. So I definitely see that analogy there too, man. The candlesticks painting on there is like reading a sheet of music, and when you can be in tune with it and everything, oh man, it's something special. But yeah, man, I am a pre-construction manager for a company here in Baltimore that does a lot of multifamily construction, adaptive reuse of historic projects, bringing old things back to life, and all that's going really well. And all that makes the trading a lot easier, dude. When I called y'all up in here, man, I was in between jobs for almost 8 months because I couldn't get a job because of my felony and recent, Schedule One possession charges, living in a goddamn RV and like making $200 doing side work for somebody and trying to turn the cell phone on, order a pizza, and buy an eval, or should I save it? You know what I mean? It was all rough, but goddamn, it was rough. But so to anybody that's like, at that part of it right now,
We've been with you on that journey,
I
right,
know
bro?
you
I mean,
have,
we've
man.
had those conversations,
Yep.
right?
So
I mean, we've been
grateful for all of
it's
you,
a
man.
journey, bro. We're all, I mean, all of us are on our own journey, and it's not always like sunshine and
No.
roses, and different people are on the other side of things, and they could be feeling any kind of certain way. I mean, I know way back when I was struggling, right?
I
I mean,
remember
I
you
was
too,
going
man.
through it, and I was not afraid of like just pretty much, putting my heart on, wearing my heart on my sleeve, and it was somehow became, therapeutic, and then other people were kind of doing the same
Yeah,
thing. And I do believe strongly in, communicating your thoughts and your feelings with other people and putting it out there into the ether. There's a level of healing that really does occur, and there's an energy and an energy transference that we can kind of harness together. And I mean that can be like, it could be a nervous energy, it could be like a real kind of like motivational energy, but like you can really feel, the energy that people can bring to a conversation. You know what I mean?
100%, man. Yep, it is. It's been group therapy, and it's for a certain type of people too, man. People don't just hang out in here if they're not doing something with the trading and figuring all these things out and about ourselves and like how to move with these problems that we have or whatever's going on in life. It's like we lend a lot to each other, I think, man, in here, and it's always been that way. So that's all I got, man. I appreciate you. Thank you, Michael, for everything, teaching us how to do this. And for everyone in here that I'll be on other spaces with and hitting up in DMs and posts and whatever, man. Love y'all. Peace.
Baltimore representing.
Yeah,
That's right, Dave.
boy.
Yes, sir.
Gotta love that. Mr. Frank Cross, you want to jump in? paging Mr. Frank Cross.
Hey, Kitt, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We can hear you great.
Hey, Kitt, what's up? How you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. There's an echo. That's going to be a problem.
Okay, give me a second.
You've got headphones
I
in.
just turned it off. Can you hear me better now?
I think so. We still have an echo. It's horrible.
Check, 1, 2, 3.
Go. I will mute myself, but I'm going to ask that you mute anytime you're not talking.
Okay. I had a question. I don't know if you want me to introduce myself. My name is Frank.
Please do.
I've been trading for 4 years now. I'm a technician, got family, and I've been trying to trade in the first percent of her value gap. And I had a question. Probably I know ICT is listening. I don't know if he'll be able to answer it or not, but I told you in the space that I was talking a few days ago, Kitt, that I'm seeing this signature that ICT says that whenever you see fair value gap stay open, that's kind of like an algorithm and signature that the market is signaling that is gonna, go to the right way, that the other way or whatever. So my question was, or maybe you could help me on that, Kitt. Whenever we have a candle trading to a fair value gap, if it wicks the fair value gap, like, is that a algorithmic signature or is that manipulation? And then it comes down and closes, below the the mean threshold of the fair value gap. Like, what's the story behind the?
Frank, I'm going to need a picture.
Basically, I don't know. Let me rephrase it. If
It's
a candle,
probably not gonna
okay,
help.
let me see if I can get something attached, and I'll get back.
Okay. Questions about the chart, technical questions need to be accompanied with some form of chart or picture. Please, it's part of the process. We can answer technical questions.
Okay, you can have someone else while I get the charts set up.
Okay, Frank. We have a few more folks here. It is 6:07. We've been here for a minute. We've gone from back to back to back. I'm fine with I think we're gonna leave it here. 3 hours, 7 minutes, not bad. Josh, my co-host, I'm kind of good with us kind of leaving it here, I think ish.
It's a good call.
Yeah. All right.
Consumable.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's been a good length. And it's our kind of traditional It's Friday next to our space with Michael. And it's good. I'm glad actually we had the follow through on it all. And thank you, Michael, for being here. Hope everyone has a great weekend. And yeah, we'll leave it here. High five and hugs to everybody. Have a great weekend. We'll talk with you soon. We'll be doing some form of some kind of review or something on X, hopefully, over the weekend. Had some tech difficulties on the live streams, so but we'll see if we get that fixed. Much love, much respect. Thank you very much. Thank you for being here. All of our speakers, thank you for contributing to our collective consciousness. We are stronger together, and we can accomplish more together in 1 year than we can alone in a lifetime, and the markets will provide.
Be safe.
Appreciate it, Kitt. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Kitt. Take care.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Have a happy, healthy, blessed Easter. Thank you, everyone. Love.